Everybody, welcome to a surprise episode of State of Scrims. I guess I didn't really announce it, so I'll probably hit an updates right now. Um, but I am joined by Gruer. Mason is at work, and as as some people know, will also be at work on Sunday during the Rift Shark series. So I think that's been the talk of the town lately. I would like to think my prediction is that I think Rift Sharks and Fruitcakes are going to end up back together in the finals no matter who wins this next series. So ideally we'll have main rosters for that series, but I think Mason being benched does make things a little interesting. I think he could definitely retroactively boost his MVP candidate run if Julian does not
Sure.
perform as well and loses to Rift Sharks. So I don't know if you have any takes on that series. I do mainly want to focus on the other one because we're not involved in it, but if you have any
Yeah,
takes on
well, first off, glad I could fill in for Mason. Happy to be here. I think the Rift Sharks Fruitcake series will be awesome. Um, I don't know. Not too much to say about that one, or at least not right now. As far as the other series, that's the one I'm more hyped for too, just as a spectator, obviously. But I think they're all going to be good.
Yeah, I mean the big
Um,
storyline for me going into the the Sharks Fruitcake series is Lisby absolutely destroying Avery in the All Star game. I would
yeah, but I
like
was on his team for that game, so it doesn't really count, does it?
I would like to think that that's not representative of how it'll go on Sunday, but if so, then it'll be an interesting series for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, looking at Metabusters versus BB, I think the narrative here is super easy. There's two different ways to approach it, right? There's the last time these two teams played, Big Bananas 2-0 slammed them. And then there's the argument that, oh, like Metabusters wasn't doing well. They didn't have the roster they wanted to run. They finally get the roster they want to run. And then 2-0 the second seed. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a really exciting series. I think either team could win, and I think there's huge arguments for either teams to be favored. I do think Big Bananas having side select going into the first game is going to be huge, especially with Blake on that team, a big draft genius over there. So I think that'll help him out a lot. The question is that going to decide the series? Are we going to see 3 wins on the same side as the series goes on, or is one team just going
Yeah.
to show up better on the day and win?
Um, I think that's going to be a really interesting one. I definitely think, as you mentioned, I think Blake and Big Bananas as a whole have been performing. They've kind of ramped up in the same way that I think Metabusters has ramped up. Um, if I think about the two teams, how they match up stylistically, I do think it probably favors Metabusters because I think you look at BB and you say, where's their strong point? It's top. I think it's Blake. Now, they've all been performing well, but I do think it's Blake. And what is Metabusters' top winner? Corn, what's he good at? He's really good at just soaking pressure, I feel like.
Is he
In
born?
this last series, he played multiple games of Ornn, I think. I think he played 2 games of Ornn. And it's just, I don't know. I think you can do something similar against Blake. You put him on Ornn if he can't get like his Darius or something. And then he's just not going to lose the game. He's not going to lose you the game into Blake. And then I have questions on can they win hard enough around the rest of the map to actually turn it into a victory? Because what I could see happening is Big Bananas is able to get the early advantage, but I'm not sure if they'll actually be able to close out. And it just seems like any time that games go late, that Metabusters just they get really comfortable and they just team fight you really, really effectively. And I think a large part is due to how well both Stav and Tushini play out these late game fights. Stav in particular on these hyper carries.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of see the opposite coming out from Big Bananas because you have Alex and Mike, who are both like historically really strong early game threats, and if they can get a game snowballing, it's basically just over. And I think Cam versus Tusini is going to be the big matchup in my eyes. I think I'm going to catch flame for this for my support, but I think Stav is probably favored a little bit into Alex. Um, and I think Jacob has been playing really well. I do know that Jacob will be in the series. I'm leaking it. I will be in person, so if he starts winning, I'll like throw a brick at his head, and then the series will get more interesting. Um, but
I mean,
I
I
don't know.
don't think
I think the Metabusters bot lane is going to be favored going into it, just as I think the top lane is going to be favored for BB. So I think it really is going to come down to Cam and Tusini, and then also the rest of the mid jungle duo with Mike versus Fujer. Because I think Fujer, people have kind of pointed out that he's been slumping a little bit this season. I think if he played to the caliber that he played last season, he probably would have been first or second team jungle this season, especially because I feel like Bean's been playing really well, but he's definitely like not one of the like overall strongest players in the server. And I think when Fujer's performing at his peak, I think he's in that category, and he definitely hasn't been recently. So if he doesn't turn it up, Mike's just going to father him in the jungle, and I think that's going to be really interesting to watch.
Um, I got a couple things there. I think one, I think it's a little revisionist just on how the Andromeda season kind of flamed out. I do think Bean did have a really strong performance this season. I don't think it was just the fact that other junglers were slumping. I think Bean
No,
had
no, no. I
really
don't.
nice performances.
I think Bean
Maybe I
was,
maybe I misunderstood
no.
what you said, but
I think Bean was brought up by the fact that his team did really well. Like I think he's able to have a lot of really good games because his team was doing well around him. I think if Fujer had performed to the peak that he did last season, he would have lifted his
sure,
team up to perform on the same level
sure.
as Andromeda. Because I
I
think
will say,
like looking at
yeah,
how Metabusters was viewed going into this season, people thought they were going to be 1-2, and I think if they ended up 1-2 or 3 where people thought they were going to be, I think then Fujer ends up in second team is the point I was saying.
well,
I think Bean had a
sure,
great season, and
yeah,
I think over the course of the season, I think he was like looked really good and played really well, and I think he was super strong. This was not a shot at Bean. I'm
sure,
just saying I
sure.
think Fujer's peak is higher.
I, That's probably fair. And yeah, I think if Metabusters ended up in 1, 2, or 3, even I think it would have required Fuzier to be playing at
Yes.
that top peak level. And I think you got a little bit of a sneak peek of that this last series. I mean, I don't know if are we going to go look at the previous series and break
We
them
can,
down?
yeah, sure. Let me
I'll
pull
save
that up.
that completely. But yeah, no, I think Fuzier, when he's playing at his best, as we've discussed both in the previous podcasts and in the previous game cast, when he's playing at his best, he can hang with anybody. And I think he went back to his roots of last season and just picked those early aggressive champions. He played a game of Jarvan, and then when he got banned off the Jarvan, he opted for the Pantheon.
Yeah, I mean, I think he
Yeah,
got a little unlucky in the Jarvan game. Like he got first blood, and then proceeded to not get another kill the entire game. He kind of got shut down a little bit, but he was still able to make crazy plays, and he did. Sorry, my voice is gone. He ended up getting the Zonias, and I think was able to do a lot of playmaking with that throughout the game, and I think looked really good. But the second game, he just absolutely dominated. So,
I mean, he did have the highest kill participation on his team in the first game.
yes,
Yeah, it
yeah,
did. I mean, we casted that game, so we know what happened. I think they were down 9-1 kills or 10-1
yeah.
even, and yeah, they team fought really, really well to bring that back.
Yeah, I mean,
In
I think he
large
was like
part due
one
to
in
him.
4 and something towards the beginning of the game, and then just kind of got a bunch of assists in a row. Like I think he did a lot of playmaking. I just
Yeah,
the carry performance in game 2 was obviously way better from him. That was awesome.
yeah, he did played really well. I do kind of want to talk about Andromeda though. I, I mean, I don't know what to say, man. I mean, they were in the first place slot for the majority of the
It's
season.
brutal.
At the very end, they lose the final week to drop down to number 2. You know, roster be damned. Who knows? Who knows? It wasn't their strongest roster in that final week. So I think there was an argument that, maybe they could have been number 1. But then they just flame out 2 series. Like,
Yeah.
what's your read there? Like, what happened? What went wrong?
I'm
Because I don't
just
think they're fraud.
yeah.
I don't think they're frauds. I don't think it's as simple as saying
No,
they're frauds.
I don't
Their
think
performance was
that's
a
it
fluke.
either.
Like, what
I don't know.
happened?
I mean, I will call out the baked or base take. I have first sources. I don't think this is actually submitted by Andromeda, so I don't want people to flame them for that. Like the whole roster, like only lost because of roster take. I mean, I think that is just untrue. I would hope that they didn't end up internalizing that idea and kind of go with it. But I don't know. I honestly think I think they should have ran Stanley and Dad. I think Coffee looked better with Sam when the two of them were playing. But I mean, Stanley looked phenomenal with Dad. I think my understanding from what I've heard from people, I haven't heard this directly from Andromeda, so I don't want to say it's really true. But I've heard that they were worried that Stanley's like kind of mage only champion pool was kind of known and would have been exploited. And I think maybe they were thinking that because of how the Rift Shark series went. But I think regardless, we just kind of weren't seeing what we saw out of them previously. And I mean, they're having to ban Darius here when they're on blue side. And I think the fact that the Darius priority has fallen off a lot for Bean does really hurt him. I think a huge part of his game is that he has all these kind of unique. Sorry, unique jungle champions in his pool that he's really able to kind of dominate with. And if you go back and look at the Andromeda Fruitcake series, like Andromeda's also having to ban Singed in some of their games, which they didn't have to do when they played Fruitcakes previously. So I think some of it is just Bean's pool kind of hit its end. Like nerfs hit the Darius, which is super unfortunate for them, and then they aren't running Stanley anymore. I think in the Fruitcakes Andromeda series, I think Coffee looked fantastic. I think he looked really good, and it didn't seem like the issue. And he did have a solid first game in the Andromeda series or in the Metabuster series, but I think he kind of fell off. But we've literally never seen Stanley have a bad game this season. He was on my ballot very high up on the ADC team, like all scrims voting. I think he played really well. Yeah, the mage pool's a bit pinched, but literally like when we played them, we had to ban the Hui on red. Like it was just so strong.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they lost that really did hurt them.
Yeah, I think Coffee had a lot of good performances. I think it's a little bit of a shame that his last game of the season was that Ashe performance because I don't think that was near indicative of how well he played this season. But yeah, I also agree. I think Stanley was, I mean, he was on my ballot for, I don't remember if I put him first or second, but he was on my ballot for sure. And he played so well. And yeah, I think there is some idea around, okay, maybe mages bot are exploitable. I do think it's true that there's less good AD mid options, so depending on what Sarvers felt comfortable playing, it could make it a little bit harder for them to draft. But at the same time,
with Darius going down, you don't have the turbo strong AD jungle too, so it does hurt you.
But at the same time, they were winning earlier in the season when they had both Sarvers and Stanley on mages, and I don't know. I would have liked to have seen Stanley get some play in at least one of the playoff series. It's a little unfortunate that he didn't, just with how well he's played. I think it's the best Stanley's played in seasons that I can remember, at least as long as I've been in the server. I mean, he was playing as good as anyone this season, so that's a little disappointing. If I'm trying to pinpoint what actually went wrong for Andromeda, I mean, game one, they were in a hard winning position against Metabusters, and then they just kind of threw in the mid game. It feels to me like their early games are pretty good, and I'm questioning if they have the right voice in the mid game. Like, it just feels like they're a little disjointed. It feels like they don't entirely know how to close out from their position, how to push the lead safely.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it also is that they used to just draft like turbo scaling, like especially when Arnie was prioritizing the Jax. Like that, you just have 5 scaling champions on Andromeda every time. But if you look in this game, like, I mean, I don't know with the new Ahri build, but I feel like Ahri has a very strong mid game and tends to fall off as you get super late in the game. And then Xin and Renekton are obviously like kind of dog crap after 20 minutes. So I think it's kind of like they were carried by their draft or carried by their comp to kind of help them close out the games earlier in the season. And now they're not drafting to that same extent. So it makes it easier for like the Tristana, who gains range as she scales when the Ornn item's going out on everyone, and Metabusters is just kind of able to push it. And especially when you go to this game too, and they have like Ornn and Neela and Seraphine that all have very good late game upsides, and they still index super hard in early and mid game champions on Andromeda. I think it's just hard for them to play the game out late. It was also a bit unfortunate in them in the second game that they did have such a bad bot lane matchup. Like Dad and Coffee just literally couldn't do anything, and I think that was honestly like a lot of that's due to draft. I think they just kind of got.
I hated them putting Dad on Milio. Personally, I don't think he's bad at enchanters by any means. He's a good enchanter player, but I don't know. I don't like giving him no agency on that pick. And
yeah, this is literally the one time all season he played an enchanter. Besides Renata, I feel like Renata still has a lot of agency. Like Milio is by far the champion that does like the least that they put him on.
Yeah, do or die, your season on the line. Yes, Milio Ashe is a good pairing, but I really didn't like that choice.
Yeah. I don't know, just the blinding Ashe with Milio or with Neela up when you banned Neela last game, I just feel like they weren't thinking. Like, I think it was just tilt after throwing the first game.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when you're up that much and you lose, I think I don't know, like, they really didn't like the Jarvan, so they banned it, and they just kind of didn't think about the fact that Neela's up. I honestly wouldn't hate the Vayne locked in again, unless that's, like, a bad... I don't know.
I
it's
don't
so
know.
tough. Like I know Andromeda can play better and has been playing better than they did in their last couple series. I
I
mean,
mean,
honestly,
the
I think
reality is
versus
it's
Rift Sharks, I think they
disappointing.
played great. Like I think that was just a really good series from both teams. So I don't even feel like they
Yeah.
kind of fell off there. Like I think they had a strong series there. It's just the next two in playoffs they kind of lost steam.
I mean, they played really well in the Fruitcake series. They won the first game, and then I'm pretty sure the third game, top lane went really, really bad in the third game, which ended up being their death. But they were in like a strong position. Like, yeah, Vagar was so it's
Yeah, I
up a
mean there
little
was
bit,
like
but Vagar was
fucking
so fed in that
Exodia.
Andromeda game. The
Yeah.
fact that they lost that was insane. I mean, Lispy put on like an all-time carry performance in that series, especially in those later two games. And
Yeah,
Mason
literally
had
no deaths in the last
really
two
good echo
games.
performances with Kai also. Like everyone played well on their team, but I mean, Andromeda was in winning positions all throughout these playoff series, and it's just disappointing. I mean, you
Yeah.
lose. That's your second team jungle, second team mid, second team 80 or second team support, and as the MVP of the league, all just out. Like, and
Yeah.
on a broader note, to look like seasons beyond, I don't know if I don't want to make this sound like blame at all, but like I feel like with how good Sarveris has individually played season after season after season, the last three seasons he has not won a playoff series. He has
That's
either not made
crazy.
playoffs or not won a playoff series. The only time he's won a playoff series was when he was on 80 carry on the Spectres roster with me. Like I don't know.
Okay, true, because
He's been
he
playing.
gets hit by a tornado here.
Okay, that's before I joined, really.
Right.
So I'm
And
not
then
counting that one.
tornado div, and then he sweeps
He
playoffs
wins.
on
Yeah,
ADC.
we win. Yep.
And then he was still on Spectres here. They had a really good run, weren't able to make it. And then he was on Andromeda last season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
And then this season knocked out as well. It's just like for how good he's performing, it's been disappointing to me that we haven't gotten to see him go further.
sorry, I'm just trying to remember this game. This one was fun. Okay. Oh, right. When I picked fucking Cassidy. And he was playing top. Okay, yeah, I really.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's been performing well in top, in mid,
Yeah.
in 80 carry, obviously, when he won. I
No,
don't know.
I
It's
think.
just,
Yeah.
it stands out to me. It's just, that's a bummer. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm not trying to start some narrative, but
No, no,
like,
no. I mean, I've heard this take before. You're definitely
can
not
he
the one
not win in
starting it.
playoffs? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think so. I feel like
I don't think it's on him.
It's
No,
never
he's
him
playing
in
bad. He's 6 and
playoffs.
1. He's 6 and 1 on Vagar. Like it's. But at a certain point, can you just keep saying unlucky? Like I don't know.
I think you can. I don't know. I need to like. I think he needs to actually have a bad playoff series before I'm gonna be done saying unlucky. I think, especially with the fucking tornado, like, that's clearly not
Yeah.
this guy's fault. I don't know. I think he's just cursed towards the end of the season. I'm glad he got the win though. That season, you guys were so dominant. I literally like. I don't know. It felt like there was nothing we could do versus you. It was ridiculous. In season 6.
Yeah, that team was peaking
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, he's an
so
insane
what's
80
your
carry player.
yeah.
I
Oh
don't
no,
know.
and like just talking to Mythic, like the amount of help that Sarvis gave him, like Mythic went like from the sign up games and stuff to the team format. It's like a drastic difference. Like Sarvis just shot calling is insane, and like that's like talking to the both of them. Like I was literally like in their DMs, I'm like, I can't do anything versus you. I'm like, it's me and Eric. Like we historically have been very good. We can't do shit. What's happening? And their comms apparently were just that good, and a lot of that was on Sarvis. So I mean, I am never gonna hate on that player. I think he's really good.
Yeah.
But what is your prediction on Metabusters versus BB? Because that series is gonna be so fucking exciting.
Well, do we want to talk about the BB 101 series first before we do that?
Yeah. I mean, it did go to 3 games, and 101 Thieves started out so good. Like it looked like they were just gonna stomp the series. I mean, Mike was on like the OP Gwen jungle pick. Alex had a really good first game. Like he was 2-2-1, but like watching him play, like I don't know. I feel like people had like takes on like, oh, his positioning was it. I don't care. I think he played phenomenal in the first game, and just turned it up for the rest of the series. I think this is easily the best performance we've seen from him this season. I mean, he got a fucking Benta in game 3. Like that guy just
Yeah.
popped off. And I mean, I think you need that to beat Dave. Like I think Dave had a good series, but Alex just kind of made him silent, which is insane.
I don't know if you could say he made him silent. Dave was
For
putting
narrative
in work
purposes, he made him
in
silent.
that third game. They were winning lane hard, and then he got a Penta that made him go from 3-4 to 8-4. Let's be real for a second. Let's be real. That was Mike.
Thank you
Carried
for
that
calling
game.
me out. I
But
was
still,
bullshitting.
but still, I don't know, man. Like in the same way, I'm like disappointed that you got Sarver's knocked out. Like, damn, it's insane that Dave was knocked out because he has been playing so damn well. And I don't know, man. Both playoff series, 101 Thieves had a really nice game 1, picks up a win, and then just drops 2 in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, the game against Rift Sharks, they dominated that game 1.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like to me that they're just struggling to adapt. Because I feel like, I don't know, like the Alawi pick and the Red Cane were both showing, and you pick 2 champions that like, or no, Red Cane's showing, and you pick 2 champions that suck into Red Cane, and then you can just slam another champion that's basically Red Cane in the top lane. I don't know. I mean, 101 Thieves has definitely had draft issues all season. I think that's been my number one issue with the team. I think their play is great. I think they just end up with a bunch of weird and crappy comps sometimes, and it hurts them a lot. And I think when you're in a series where there's so much prep on draft, and obviously in a series, the meta is going to be different. You're never going to be able to predict it. And I think 101 Thieves, with how well they play, is able to like jump the gun on the first game. And it's like, hey, here's actually what we're bringing to the table. You weren't expecting us. Against us, it was the Ashe pick. And in this first game, I think it was just like the Pantheon, Volibear, and the willingness to play the Ahri. And he won so well into Cam. I think that all kind of comes as a surprise. I mean, I don't know why we didn't see an Ahri in game 2. That's something that kind of sticks out to me, but I don't know. Like, I think 101 Thieves is just able to body because they're so good at the game. It's just the drafting is not. It's not there.
I don't know if I agree with that, but
that's my.
I don't know. I didn't actually. I didn't get to see game 2. I saw game 3. Yeah. How do you go 0-7-0 on Malachi? Not even an assist.
The Blake Alawi, like, it's so weird because Blake is like, Alawi's the worst champion in the world. I'll never play her. No one should ever pick her. She's trash. And then every time Blake's locks Alawi, he just 1v9s. It's actually gross.
Well, if you pick Alawi in the right spots, there's really not a ton of counterplay.
Right. I mean, he just says that she sucks all the time. Like there was like a 3-year period where he goes, Alawi is the worst champion of the game. If you pick her or Callisto, you should be shot. And then he just wins on Alawi like 8 times, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
To me, it felt like I thought Douglas, just talk about their team holistically. I hope we get to see more of them next season. Dave obviously was playing like as good as anybody this season. I thought Douglas played a really nice season. I thought he kind of had like a mythic type thing where, he came in doing pretty good, but then the way he was playing at the end of the season was just so impressive. God, yeah. The way he added Thresh to his champ pool was super, super impressive. Yep. Because at the beginning of the season, you were like, okay, this guy's really good at Tahm Kench and Nautilus, but just ban one, prep for the other, you're chilling.
Yeah.
Then he added Thresh. And at that point, it's like, okay, you really can't just like get him off something he's going to do good on. I thought Juan had a solid season. I mean, he was up there with the most MVP votes, like near the top of the list, right behind Sarverus. And it just, to me, felt like, I don't know. I think Nishan and Jonah were just inconsistent. Like, I think they had good performances, but then I felt like they had some not as good performances. And I think if this team sticks together and you get a little more practice, I think if Jonah gets some more top lane experience, like I could see this team having a much higher ceiling than what got shown this season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think some of their low points have like been because of drafts. Because I look at like this Malphite, Xin, Lux, Varus, Thresh. What does it do? Like
that's a bad draft.
It actually does nothing. Like I don't
think it's a bad draft, personally. I mean,
I don't know. I see the comp and I immediately get like terrible vibes. Like Xin Zhao's trying to get early pressure and ganks, and Lux has conditional setup. and like isn't really able to collapse on a kill the way you want it to. And then Malphite is just not like
Yeah,
into an
but
Ornn,
Juan
it's not
was gapping
happening.
Cam so hard.
No, no,
Juan
I
was
agree.
gapping Cam so hard in that
But
matchup.
but it's just
Literally what happened was Mike scaled and then they started winning team fights. Like that's
yeah.
one of the best performances I've personally ever seen out of Mike. Like I know before I showed up, he was like this cracked guy, but one of the best junglers in the server.
Yeah.
This series here with this Kane performance was one of the best stuff I've seen out of him. If he plays like that against Fuzier, I think there's definitely angles for them. But I don't know. I don't think you can hate on the draft too much. Like
I mean,
feel like
you
you have
drafted a poke comp with Lux and Varus, and then you have Malphite to start like a wombo combo team fight. Except you're like,
yeah, I
looking
don't
at-
like the Malphite R5.
I don't know.
feel like
I
he's-
just think
he's-
I just feel like there's issues, and I feel like every other team has some sort of identity that they kind of can draft around and play around. And 101 Thieves is just like, oh, we have 5 champions here. What do we do with them? And sometimes it works out really well, and they just stomp, and sometimes it just kind of doesn't add up. I don't know. I think that's something that they need to work on internally. But I don't know. I just think a lot of their drafts, like, I mean, honestly, this one's fine in game 2. They just kind of got stomped because Big Bananas is very good at drafting and figured out exactly what to pick into it.
yeah.
But I think sometimes they just end up with a composition and it's like you actually can't play the game. Sorry. I feel like that's what happened in game 3. Like, I think game 2 was just a little unlucky, and obviously Mike and Blake played super well, and Cam and Alex played near perfect games, and Michaela out of her mind. Really good.
Yeah, shout out Mimi, like showing up. Like did Mimi play at all this season?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Mimi would have had to be able to play in playoffs.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know.
Okay.
I mean, my personal opinion is that BB should just run Mimi as much as possible. Like,
I mean, Mimi played
not
amazingly.
even like being like, oh, like Mimi's a better player than Alana. I just don't think Alana wants to play support, and Mimi clearly does want to play support, and I think that just would help them because I don't. I feel like the whole like role swap thing was like, I don't know. I don't think it matters. I hope we get to see Mimi again in the series this week. I'm not sure if that's happening or not.
I do
though.
too. I thought Mimi played really, really well. I mean, I thought they all played well. I would say
that first Janna game
we can
was,
kind of
or this Janna game was insane. So good.
as we bid farewell to our eliminated teams and we look ahead to the upcoming series finally, I do think a lot of it, I think Big Bananas has a way to win. I'm just going to give it my prediction first before I start talking about it. My prediction is that Meta Busters will win. But I don't think it's like far apart at all. I think it's a close series. And to me, it's just some of these Big Bananas players are just going to have to perform at their peak. Like I think Cam, it's going to be, you kind of mentioned it. I think you can probably say top's going to favor BB, bot lane's going to favor Meta Busters. I think jungle's probably pretty even, maybe even. So I really think it's going to be mid jungle, like who performs better there. And in particular, I think Cam's going to have to play well into Tusini. I think Cam at his best can hang with anybody, but I think Cam has a much greater variance than Tusini does, if that makes sense.
For sure. Yes. I mean, Cam has a greater variance in what the hell champion is he going to pick, and also just in terms of how he's going to perform on it.
I mean, really need Cam
he's
to
just
pick
known
Echo,
as like,
by the way.
Yeah, he'll just play everything. Like he just plays different champions. Like there was a long stretch where we'd go to put him on the like awards and we wouldn't even know what's a champion to pick because he played every champion once. Like he just would never repeat champions. So I don't know. I mean, I think that champ pool helps him and sometimes it hurts him because he'll pick a champion that's actually decent in the spot. He's not as comfortable on it. If Alex plays like he played last series though, I think Meta Busters is just cooked because Alex played so well.
I think Meta Busters is cooked.
If Alex just turns it up to like 15 and just like
I'll be honest, I think if Alex plays
game,
like he did last season or last series, then he can hang with Stav. That's my opinion, though. Like I think he can hang with Stav if he plays as good as he did last series.
Okay, I will have to see.
I don't know. So here's how I see it, though. I think if Meta Busters continues to draft and play how they have, it's on BB. I think BB can get the early leads. But it's going to be, can you close it out? Because I think Meta Busters has been playing pretty poor early games. Now, that second game where he got the Pantheon and Fuzier got a lot going, yeah, they snowballed that one pretty well. But for the most part this season, to me, it feels like Meta Busters plays a pretty poor early game, but they have good scaling and they team fight so well late game that if you make even 1 or 2 mistakes around 20, 25, 30 minutes, they grab a hold of it and they don't let go. And I think that's beatable, but it's dangerous, and it requires you to play super, super well if you're on the other team, and you're just not allowed to make mistakes. So I think if BB plays their cleanest, it's beatable. I think if it gets messy, I just trust Metabusters to pull it out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My read on like Blake, Mike, and Alex, like through all the seasons that they've played, has not. They're not players that make mistakes. They're players that have bad games, but it's
Okay.
not like if they're having a game where they're on, they're just going to perform consistently and not really throw it, which I think is kind of like the perfect formula for them to have a good shot into Metabusters.
Okay.
I think mental is going to be a factor in this game. I don't know which team has the ability to crack. I think both of them should be pretty good under pressure, but I don't know. I think I would not be surprised if the team that loses game 3, or if a team just flames out right away, if it just seems like they've just lost their ability to focus. But both of these teams are on a lower bracket run that are doing really well, so I would like to think that that won't happen. But
I mean, BB dropped game 1 in their last series and bounced back really hard. So I'm not going to sit here and assume that they're going to crash out if
right.
it goes a little
Yeah,
rough.
no, neither team worries me directly. This is a very high stress situation. I don't think either team was really predicted to be in this match at all. So I think there's a lot of expectation to be there. I mean, I think if you look all the way back to the beginning of the season, then I think Metabusters was expected to make it this far.
Yeah, I mean, Metabusters is the defending champions. Like, they're playing to defend their title. Like, they
really
want to keep
doesn't
it
feel
going.
like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if Tusini plays at his peak, I think it's Raps. Like, that's my opinion. I think Tusini peaking is the best player in the series. And I think if he plays at his best, and I think he's getting some confidence back, like that Annie game, like we were all kind of, well, I say we, me and you were critical of the Annie pick. And then he picked it a third time or a fourth time, whatever it was. And he performed really, really well. And he found consistent big plays that really put them through that game. The second game, he picked his Ari. He didn't do the whole kind of flavor of the month build. He did his traditional Malignance build and had a super, super, super good game. I think if he continues to just trust in whatever he feels is the strongest, he gets his confidence, he's playing well, I think Metabusters can run the bracket. Like, I think at their best, they definitely still could run the bracket. Gonna have to see it to believe it, but
yeah,
I really think it's going to come down.
I would go as far to say that either of these two teams could end up in finals. Like, they're very solid. I would not be surprised. Like, I don't think it's going to be Rift Sharks or Fruitcakes ends up losing and then gets a really easy series to get back into finals. I think they're probably going to, because I think the amount of determination on both of our teams is very high. Mason obviously is very hungry. Like, I don't know, like we have Mason and I, right? And we both haven't won since season 4. And I think we really want to be back there. And I mean, I think we are like the primary strategy people for our teams. So I think the drive is definitely there. So I would be shocked if a lot of prep and planning and, making sure that we're ready to lock in and get to finals doesn't happen. But if Metabusters and BB are improving consistently and playing at the level that they have been, I think they're going to give either of our teams a huge run for their money. So I don't know. The end of finals or the end of playoffs is going to be phenomenal. I've been really enjoying this format. I am a bit sad that we might not end up getting it in the fall because we have the shorter season. But who knows how many teams we're going to have in the fall, so we could have something completely different too. But
when you say you're talking about the double elim,
yeah, I don't know, like the whole like some teams seeded into the lower bracket, the double elim, the fact that there's 6 different teams in it, the fact that there's
that's
like
the
8
best
teams
way to
in
do
the
it, in
season,
my
it's
opinion.
just it's so fun.
It really is fun. It really is. And yeah, I think any of the 4 teams left, sure you can say who you maybe think is most likely, but anyone could pull it off at this point. All it takes is getting hot. Like at most 3 series, just get hot for 3 series. What's that? Yeah. You got to win 6 games, or I guess 6 or 7. Like,
yeah,
it's so doable. It's going to be really exciting. If we want to talk a little bit about the Rift Shark series, I'll give my thoughts on it. So this is a rematch. You did see Fruitcakes is Rift Sharks' 1 loss. Yeah, we Rift Sharks are the 1 seed, but we've lost a series, and it was to Fruitcake. So I don't think Rift Sharks is necessarily favored, even though they are the 1 seed here. As you mentioned, you did see the kind of a preview sneak peek of the top lane matchup. I'm not going to put too much weight into that.
Either.
I think it's all stars. The teams probably weren't super balanced, and I think people were taking it seriously, but at the same time, it's not the same. But I do think top lane will be really important. Lispy's playing as good as anyone in the entire server. At his best, he probably is the best player in the server. Like he's Grandmasters after all. Like the dude is amazing. Mason is playing the best that I've personally seen him play in my time in the server. I've heard rumors that he might not be available, but then, oh God, you don't have Mason? Oh, by the way, we're slotting in Julian, who happened to be the best jungler in the server when he was playing consistently. Yeah. So, yeah, you're really falling off there. Kai has been playing as good as he ever has, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure.
And then their bot lane's playing super, super well, too.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kai and Stanley were both players that you mentioned here. I think they were high on my list for most improved in the voting there. I know that wasn't as public, but I highly agree. I cannot praise either of those two players' seasons enough. I think they've been playing phenomenally. I was taking a peek at our baked or base takes, and two of them are like the server stuff that we were already talking about, so I don't really want to go over those. Couple takes about Echo, which I think we can just do next time if there's more takes. But the one that I do want to talk about, and I don't want to pull up the whole baked or based image just to do one take, but it is that top lane is more important than ever in Scrim Zone, and their reasoning is that the 4 remaining teams are the 4 teams with the best top laners. So I kind of want to talk about that in 2 parts. I think we've already brushed on it for both of these series going into it, but do you think that's accurate? What's your read on that?
So kind of 2 parts there. One is top lane the most important role this season. Is that's one part?
No, it's more important than it's ever been in Scrim Zone. So not the most important role this season, but more important than it's been in other seasons.
Yeah, I think so. I would think so. I think the level of play in top lane is higher than it's ever been, which, I mean, honestly, I think when you have a player as good as Lispy in the server, it demands top lane to be a focal point. I don't think it's a season where you can just say, okay, we're going to top lane island as easily and play for the other 4 members of our team, like we've seen in some seasons past. I think you've seen that kind of be a successful strategy. I don't think you can really do that anymore. As far as the meta, I think with Otacon being available, I think with Grubs being available, depending on where that is, you can't as easily also just say, okay, I'm only going to play for Dragons, so I'm just going to ignore topside. So yeah, I think both meta, I think players, I think there's a lot of diversity in what you can pick in top lane right now. I'd probably agree. Yeah, I'd say it's probably base that it's more important than it's been in seasons past.
Yeah, I will disagree on more important than ever because I think it was really fucking important in season 1, but I'm old. No one knows what I'm talking about.
I got no idea, so I'll defer to you there.
We had like a Grandmaster top laner, and then it was like Peter versus Blake in finals, which was fucking awesome. Like, that was so cool. I don't know. That was fun. And then we literally had like Peter dropping a double pentakill in semifinals that season from top, just solo carrying the game. Like, I don't know. Season 1, I think top lane was the most important that it's ever been. Maybe just the most important role that season too. But I think if you accept season 1, that's probably true. I will defend my Kiwi goat. I don't think the top 4 top laners are the ones still in there. I'm not gonna say who I think is worse because I think that there's no. I just think Arnie should be in the top 4.
I mean Arnie's my boy, so I'm biased when I am biased, but I do think Arnie. Well, shit, I can't really talk about it without like. Okay. I don't know. Okay, I think fuck it. I think Arnie's better than Korn. I know they just lost, but I still think he is. I think he's historically won that matchup. Yeah. You're putting him on Orn both games because you're scared. The end. I'm blaming a little bit now, but I'm just having fun. I love my Kiwi guy, but I do think you can say whatever there. But the other 3, I think for sure. I think Avery, Blake, and Lispy are clear top 3. Yes. Like I think. In whatever order you want to put it in, I think they're clear top 3. It's top lane no matter what the matchups are. Korn versus Blake going to be super, super hype. I'm so excited to see Avery versus Lispy run back. And then whatever ends up happening in the next matchups will be super, super hype.
Right, because we have 4 good top laners. I mean, I think Korn is a really close 5th. Like, I'm not gonna say it's like a
Yeah,
huge
I
jump.
agree
Yeah.
too. I think he's the clear above whoever else. I think he's clear fifth at
I
that
don't know.
point. But
Draco had some fucking banger games. I don't know.
yeah, top line's just stacked. Like there's,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like is every
Oh,
role just not
Liav's too?
stacked? Like
How did I
there's.
forget? Like, I
Oh
don't know.
yeah, I think Liav got hidden because his
Okay, wait.
team didn't win
So who did
anything,
we
but
not
Liav was
mention?
also playing as good as
Yeah.
anyone, like
I guess,
individually.
yeah. And then Devada, Jonah flexing around. They both had some very good games this season. But I
Yeah,
think,
like
as you said,
damn,
consistency maybe. But I
it's
don't know.
tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I yeah, I don't know. Okay, do we have an opinion on what the strongest role is, what the toughest role is this season? 'Cause I think you have heavy hitters in every single position.
Is there just a sweeping most important role? I lean towards mid because I think even the teams that don't have their strongest players or mid laner, they perform so much better when their mid laner's playing well. Like if you look at Fruitcakes when Kai has a good series, like they look so much better. I don't know. That's my read, and I think there's a lot of strong champions in mid right now. Um, but I think Jungle's had some strong upsides this season too, but I don't think to the same degree that mid has. I think ADC and support value is actually down a little bit from past seasons. But we also have a lot of like newer players in the support role this season, or just like players who have like limited champion pools, and I think that could be bringing down the bot lane as a whole, just in terms of power, because I think sometimes you have a like very strong player kind of paired up with someone who complements them pretty well but isn't able to like have as much agency, and I think that brings them down a little bit. Whereas
Yeah.
mid lane is just able, like we have 8 insanely good mid laners this season. Like I don't
Yeah, no,
I
you
don't
really
know.
did. Yeah, I feel like the
no
nature
role
of
is
Scrim-
bad. Like every role is so
No,
good. I would have to say mid.
yeah, I mean, I'd probably agree. I think mid lane. It's the main character role of the game. Like it just in general. Like
Yeah.
you have like, mid lane is the key to everything as far as your macro, as far as your mid game, as far as your like early game, being able to contest stuff. Like it's really really important. I think you mentioned it. You kind of said when Kai's playing really really well that it just shows Fruitcake's another level. I think when Kai's playing at his best, Fruitcake's kind of starts to become damn near unbeatable. Like that's my opinion. I think
Yep.
if because Mason or Julian and Lispy are going to put out a really good performance every single game for the most part. When Kai is also playing super super well, like what do you attack? Like okay, maybe you can say okay, you try to attack bot lane, but their bot lane has very rarely gotten beaten to the point where okay, you're able to win through that alone. Like
Right.
Fruitcakes is a behemoth to both draft against, to play against, to strategize. Like, I don't know. Like, it's going to be really curious to see like what both is Rift Shark's going to approach strategy wise against them, and then what is whoever else, if anyone else ends up playing against them, how are they going to try to
Right.
approach
Yeah, it
that?
could just be
Because
Rift Sharks twice.
it's just so hard when you have a player like Lispy that draws these like what feel like permanent bans. It seems like no one, not a single team, has allowed him to have Garen or Singed this season outside of like a few early Garen games.
There were a few times where Singed was left open and they didn't pick it, or where they
Yeah,
banned Singed. But
yeah.
that
Well, I
doesn't
think
seem
they
to be the
picked it and
case
let Mason
anymore now
play it
that
as
they
well.
have the flex. Yeah,
Yeah, when you show
that's
that Mason can
huge.
also play it, it's like holy. It's so hard to let flex picks through, especially when it's flex picks for the strongest players
Especially when
because
it's
then
the
you
All
they
Star
get a
game
good
and it's
matchup
fucking
regardless.
echo between you and Mason. That was absurd. I was.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't ban that. Not gonna lie, but
I don't know. Like I was literally
I
casting. I
think
was
my
like, "Oh,
pregame
the
banter
game's
of
over.
we're not
Echo
banning
went in."
anything made them
Yeah,
not ban it. To be honest, but
that's I don't know. No, I don't
yeah,
know.
it's some
I had
fun.
to work so late that night. Like I literally was just like, oh, like I probably should just give up on casting and get back to work. Like so, Echo got through. I was like, oh, GG's. Oh well.
I mean, Mason's Echo is so good this season.
Yeah.
I do his build he has, which he got from me by the way, but his build he has is so strong, and it's just fun to me because he's been playing Echo for a long time, and he's always built tanky, and it
Yeah.
just hasn't been that good. And now it is finally good, and he's getting rewarded for all that time he put into it before. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Shout out
no,
the Baker base take. It says you're Oppenheimer for creating the Echo build for Mason. You've just handed fruitcakes and nuclear bomb that everyone else has to deal with. But
Honestly, I regret telling the man at this point, but
uh,
you know, I like sharing this stuff.
yeah, no, I mean, I think it makes everything more interesting. So
Yeah, speaking of Echo though, I really want to see Cam play Echo, dude.
yes, yes,
He's like almost never lost on it. Like, I don't know. He's hesitant to pick it. It feels like I think part of that maybe is because traditionally he played at jungle a lot, and it like Echo's main weakness is how weak his laning is early game. So maybe he doesn't feel confident taking that into like some of these players, but at a certain point, like that Yasuo game, that would have been such a good Echo spot. I really hope if he
yeah,
gets into a matchup against Tusini where it feels playable, that he'll just do it because he's really good at it.
yeah.
I
I
think
mean
he's only
that
lost like one
that
time.
is what he played into Tusini last time, so maybe. And he
Yeah,
this fucking
I'd love to
game,
see him do that
holy
again.
shit! I forgot about this one. I don't think Metabusters falls for that again.
Anivia top, like what is that?
Yeah, I mean, they literally just picked like they picked three of like these strong niche picks from this season and just had them all together and then slapped a Varishjana with it and just like won. I don't know.
See, this is the kind of thing though where if they lose that game, we're sitting here being like, "This is a terrible team composition. Why did you
Oh no,
do
no, I was hyped on it
that?"
the whole time. I don't care. I saw this, I was like, they're cooking. Like they did it. This is amazing. But I
Oh
mean, it
man,
felt to me that Metabusters just didn't even realize they were doing the lane swap. I honestly think that the lane swapping throughout the game was actually executed pretty decently from both teams. I just think the composition just
yeah.
stomped them because they had so many good picks. But I
Well, do
would
we want to make
expect to
a
see
final
some.
prediction on that? I'm gonna say personally, I'm gonna say Metabusters 2-1. I
I
think
was
is
gonna
my
say
final
BB 2-1,
prediction.
so that works.
Hey,
I don't know. I'm a Metabusters believer, but Blake is just so smart.
okay,
Like I mean,
I have a question for you
I
then.
hate to glaze the guy, but I think he's gonna figure some shit out that
I mean,
Metabusters doesn't
he
know how to
doesn't
deal
have
with.
any ego. He's not like a yeah. You, definitely, this is the person you want to glaze. No ego. Definitely chill guy. He won't take it. Yeah, sure, sure, sure. I do have a question though. Who in your mind would be like if it's 2-1? Who in your mind is that game 3 MVP? Like who
Oh
makes the
shit.
difference?
I think Blake is gonna be the game 1 or game 2 MVP. Like I think he's gonna be MVP in the first game they win. Who would turn up? Probably between Cam or Mike. I think it's like whichever one of them doesn't turn up as high as they need to, the other one's just gonna do it. But I don't know. That's tough. I think it's probably easier for it to be Mike. So I'll say like Blake and Mike are the MVPs for BB throughout the series, and then I think Fujer will have a game where he gets it. I don't know.
I for me, it's probably I think Fujier will take one, and then I think it's either just going to be Stav or Tusini. He's just going to
Oh yeah, I mean,
carry it. If Tusini plays at his peak, like I've already said it, I think he's the best player in the series at his peak. Um, I hope we get to see that, and if that's the case, yeah, I could see him easily snagging one to close it out. But it's going to be that's going to be a super fun series.
yep. All right. Well, I will cut this off because oh my god, I need to sleep, and I think I'm about to fall asleep. So, uh,
So
I thank you to everyone for watching. I don't know how many people we have watching live. Oh, we actually have 8, so that's
I think
huge.
it
Oh,
went up to 10 or 12 at one point.
yeah,
So
so many people in chat. We don't have Mason, so uh, let me skim this and see if there's any. Oh, I just have it pulled up. Oops. Surely I'm not leaking anything. um, uh, yeah, I don't know. Thank you to everyone for watching, though. I'm glad we had so many people catch it live. And then thanks to everyone who's going to watch it delayed. I'll try and get it up to YouTube tomorrow. But I will actually not be able to cast either of the series this week. I'll try and get the one next week, but hopefully we'll get those covered. I'm really hoping we'll have them live. But
hopefully that's going to be two
yeah,
awesome series.
see ya.
Later.